Hi y'all, Kraken Latte here. As I promised, here's the new, revised, and official guide on how I'd make 5 million gold if I did it again. That's right, I said guide. As my viewers may know, I don't usually make guides on gold, but rather I share the results on stuff I do. To make this as clear and helpful as possible, everything I cover will be added to a running list on the side, and I'll implement this into a weekly schedule for you at the end. But first, let's give a warm welcome to my newest patrons, Silvercat and Jason G. Thank you so much for your support, and welcome to the Kraken crew. Alright, let's get back into it. Just like my original 5 mil video, raw gold is not the only way we'll be making gold here. I point that out since so many viewers stop halfway through the video and then assume I made 5 million gold only through Blackrock Foundry, which is totally false. The amount of comments I get showing me math on how long it would take them to make 5 mil from just Blackrock or Skyreach is hilarious. There was more to that video, you know. And that is why I decided to do this guide. Now that I'm more savvy on how to make videos, and I've been seriously impressed with just how many are interested in how I do things, here's how I'd make 5 million gold over again. My way. And to preface all this is not a guide for new players. Folks new to the game can still certainly use this, but this guide expects you to have some game time under your belt and understand how things work. So keep that in mind as we move along. And before we slide into the specifics, yes, you can still get the Bruto before Shadowlands. I get asked this question multiple times on the daily from folks wanting to know if they can make it in time. Blizzard has stated that Shadowlands will release in Quarter 4, which is in the October to December block. It's only June right now, so that is plenty of time. But I can't know your life either. How much time and effort you put into this is up to you. So, let's get that running list going on the side. We'll start with Instance Raw Gold since that part has Lockouts. If you have any questions about what Raw Gold is or how Lockouts work, I've already done videos on that. Those are linked in the description below. My Raw Gold list is divided into 2 parts, weekly and daily. I'll state right now that everything in the daily category can actually be done hourly, but how many times you do it in a day is up to you. I'll only be counting it once. And weekly lockouts can be done on as many alts as you have at max level, while the daily ones are best done on your single, fastest, most geared character. So, starting with weekly lockouts, here's my list of must-dos and the golds you can expect from them. These numbers are all averages. Now, there are 8 different instances on this list, including the LFR versions. I've prioritized them by total gold received, and not gold per minute for a reason. I'm assuming you'll be doing these on one little tune. However, if you have alts, you can instantly see where time becomes important. The more alts you have, the less variety of raids you'll want to run. Why? You'll want to focus on the raids that give you the best gold for your time spent. For me, I prefer Blackrock Foundry Normal, Heroic, and Mythic because I can do all 3 in 45 to 50 minutes, whereas the others take much longer or don't give as much for the same time spent. You'll also notice I didn't include Mythic on the Legion raids that I have listed. Mythic is doable if you are super geared, but it takes a lot longer and I don't expect you to have all your alts at that level. Easy is better in this case. And that said, you can pick all or just a few from this list depending on your setup and tastes. To add to this, there's a nifty calculator that can help you figure out when you can get your Brutosaur based on the raw gold factors and number of alts it has listed. It doesn't have everything that I do, but it's a good point of reference and may even be encouraging. The link for that is in the description below as well. So that is the weekly list. Those can all be done once on all the characters you have to throw at them. Now let's look at some daily raw gold options. For these, you can choose to do all of them each day, or pick the one you want and run it hourly. Remember, alts don't really help here because these are repeatable. These are best done with your highest geared and fastest character. These are also full clears, not trash farms. If you've got a favorite trash farm you like to do, slide that on into your own list. But those aren't my cup of tea. Again, you'll notice I listed these by total gold gained. The top 7 are dungeons I chose that not only give the greatest amounts, but can all be done in their full 10-run lockout, in 1 hour. Some, like Skyreach, you can complete much faster, but speed really depends on how geared, skilled, and crafty you are for that, and doesn't matter unless you plan to do these repeatedly. You'll notice that there's 2 extra included at the bottom. Upper Blackrock Spire and Grim Atoll are dungeons that give a lot of gold, but take just barely over an hour to complete, so you can't really get the full 10 lockout. However, this can actually be a good thing, as you will never hit lockout and could run them endlessly. I've included the gold you'd expect from 1 and 10 runs, so you can just multiply the single run by however many times you feel you can do it. I believe in you. So there's the daily raw gold list. You can do these in whatever order you like, but I implore you to at least do the weekly lockouts since those have a one and done restriction during every 7-day reset. For the daily lockouts, think of those as a filler bonus to do if you have the time, you've done your weekly raids, and you want to keep farming raw gold. But wait, we aren't done with raw gold yet. There are a couple more things that I do that fall under this category. 2,000 gold emissary caches, or what I call 2Ks, world quests that reward gold, and Paragon caches. All of these are super easy to do, and the 2Ks can take less than 15 minutes. Here's a quick explanation. This is all BFA content, so you do have to be 120, and the higher geared you are, the better. But you can still do all this on a freshly leveled toon. It'll just take a tad bit longer. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. First, the world quests that give gold. You can do all of these on each character if you want, but I don't. I can get more gold by doing other things. Or, you can do what I do and focus mainly on the 2Ks, the 2,000 gold emissary caches, when those come up, and then do the gold world quests that coincide. This is the part that takes only 15 minutes. Doing all of the world quests for either gold or even trying to push Paragon caches faster takes a lot longer. The best part is that you can do this on as many 120s as you have. So 2,000 gold times however many alts you have, and it's faster than any raid. Depending on the emissary and world quest placement, it can even be done a lot faster. Tasty, right? Speaking of Paragon, each time you hit Paragon rank with Reputation, which is 10k rep past Exalted, you can turn in the quest for a cache that gives about 4,000 gold, which is awesome. You can farm for these if you want, but I just treat them as a bonus when they happen. And if you do the 2Ks enough, they do happen, more than you think. An honorable mention on this topic before we move on are the 8.3 invasion caches. Doing these each time they reset gives you a cache, which means it has a chance to give 2,000 gold. No, it's not guaranteed, I promise. I tried this quite extensively myself, and not only am I rather unlucky, the assaults can really suck on undergeared alts. So, at the very least, just do this on your mains. Okay, now let's move away from raw gold and look at what else I do. This section is not as much of a guide as it is some tips and ideas, since it's a lot less hardcore than instance farming, or at least it can be. I'm pretty freeform about this stuff. First, the most basic and most traditional way of making gold. Farming materials. Now, you can do this in 2 ways. 1, check out herbs, skins, and ores of all expansions and see what their prices are on the auction house. Pick some you like, then go farm for them. Simple as that. But as y'all might know, I've been kinda burnt out on mat farms. So how have I been doing this? Well, by leveling my alt's gathering professions. As some of you might have seen in my lazy gold tips videos, I have a gathering profession and enchanting on any alt that does not have a main crafting profession. So take my demon hunter Jerry over here. He has skinning, and it needs to be leveled. So I pick an expansion and go ham until I've leveled it. Doing this has given me a different goal, so in my mind, the materials are bonuses and I'm not annoyed by farming. Funny how psychology works, right? But this is also fabulous because it gives you a wide variety of materials to put on the auction house, rather than putting all your money on one set of mats. Like, I could just say, just go farm Xanthid and be done with it. But on my full pop server, do you know how many other people are doing that exact same thing? Good heavens, it's literally a bloodfest in there. I don't like fighting to pick flowers. Come on. On that same topic, check out my 2 lazy gold tips videos, since I do talk about some really simple stuff you can do to make all this easier. Those are linked in the description below as well. And assuming you've seen those, let's move on. So, of course, this includes fishing. Fishing is, at its core, a gathering profession. And the best part is all your alts can have it. Fish can sell at various speeds depending on what it's used for. Some are turned into oils that are used in old alchemy recipes which can still be profitable. You can even level it by fishing the Darkmoon Daggermaw in the Darkmoon Fair when that is up. Plus, this fish can be profitable since it is used as a currency for mounts. So, however you tackle fishing, it can be worth your time. I've also mentioned that all my alts have enchanting. Why? Well, each alt will come across bind on pickup gear that more often than not can be disenchanted for mats that are worth more than the item's vendor price. Especially current content mats. I never have a shortage of the most recent enchanting materials because of this simple thing. And the best part is you don't need to have it leveled to disenchant gear of any expansion. Along the same vein of thinking is disenchanting certain things like benthic gear from a Nazjatar vendor, Dauntless gear from the Broken Shore vendor, and relinquished gear from the Argus vendor. I bring these up because the tokens that these have each turn into epic level gear which can be disenchanted for its respective epic enchanting mat. The Legion ones are BOP though, so you have to have the currency specifically on the character you want to buy it for. But the benthic gear from BFA is all bind on account, meaning you can mail it to your enchanter. Back when I got my Brutosaur many months ago now, Veiled Crystals were a lot more expensive on my server, so I farmed Prismatic Mana Pearls, the currency needed to buy them, a lot. This can still be a valid thing if your server's prices are good, which what is good is up to you, but I mainly just bring this up in case you have extra currency just laying around. Those pearls could be turned into gold. So these are great tips, but what do they contribute to our running list on the left here? Well, it really depends on what kind of time you have, but I recommend farming for mats, whatever mats you choose, once a day for at least an hour. Then, as soon as you're done, go post them on the auction house. That may not sound like much each day, but if you do it each day, that's 7 hours a week. And material farming is a lot more dependent on how long it takes to sell, so I can't really give you a gold schedule for that, but I can at least recommend the farming each day or a certain amount each week. We're not done quite yet though. There is one more thing I've been doing to help the auction house flow. This requires you to have one or more of the crafting professions leveled. If you're like me and have them all, you're in really good shape. What I'm doing here is super simple and takes very little time. Professions like alchemy and tailoring have daily cooldowns on older recipes or have a funky requirement to craft. Two that I do are Living Steel from Pandaria Alchemy, which has a daily cooldown, and Mooncloth from Classic Tailoring, which requires you to stand in a moonwell to craft. There are way more than just these two, so you could easily add a lot to this list. Mats like this, though, can move slow, but they are expensive, so when they sell, it's worth it. So that's pretty much what I've been doing to save up for another 5 million gold. I have one more important tip though for those of you still with me, because you folks deserve it most. My one simple tip is to stick to a weekly gold quota. It sounds simple, and it is, but if you're just not into gold making like me, trying to meet a daily quota will drive you mad when you lead a busy life. So how do we make this quota? Here's how I did it. First, in this case, 5 million gold is your goal. Subtract all the gold you have now that you'll be using to buy it. So pretend you have 100,000 gold to your name. Now, you have to pick a goal. How fast do you want this mount? Like I said before, 9.0 is sent for Q4, so let's say October 1st at the earliest, though I imagine it'll be later in the month. Okay, so you want to use all the time you have until 9.0, right? How many weeks is that? This part will vary depending on when you see this, but for now, that is counting the few days that we have left in this reset as a week, 17 weeks. So divide your total gold that you still need by 17, or whatever that is for you. I rounded up here, so if I started right now, I would need 289,000 gold each week to make it by October 1st. That may sound like a lot, but remember those totals I gave you as examples from just doing the weekly lockouts with 8 120s? That was 364,400 gold each week. Just from that. Only have one character though? That's fine. Run more dungeons, farm more mats. You can still easily make the quota. I believe in you. So there you have it. That's what I've got for you. I hope this helps give you a clearer focus and some encouragement. I wish you the best. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's never too latte. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and poke that bell for more coffee-fueled content. Leave a comment down below if you liked it, and remember, it's never too latte.